Hello, good evening. I am Venkatram from Marketing Vertical of Collins Learning. A warm welcome to one and all to this webinar on assessing the learning needs of students post lockdown. We are sailing through tough times of Corona. As far as education and students are concerned, all the educators and all the parents have a very important question amongst us. How are we going to assess the learning needs of students post lockdown? I'm sure you'll be able to find an answer for this very important question after attending the webinar. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our resource person for the day, Dr. Vijayam Ravi. She has a vast experience and domain knowledge in the field of education, which makes her a champion in understanding how to better the learning ecosystem. Being a part of the changing education landscape for 4 decades, Dr. Ravi applies her depth knowledge while interacting with different stakeholders involved in school education. The rich experience that she gathered as an educationist, administrator, principal, trustee, director of education, chairman, and managing director of a consulting firm enable Dr. Ravi to critically analyze the strengths and weakness of the system and deliver the most appropriate solutions. Welcome, ma'am. Many thanks for accepting our invitation and joining us for the session today. All the stage is yours, ma'am. Wish you all
Thank,
a very happy listening. Thank you.
thank you, Venkat, and thank you, Collins team. A very warm good evening to all of you. Namaste to all of you. How are you doing? I'm sure you're all doing great by the grace of God. It has been a very tough time for everyone across the country, across the world, rather. And I'm sure as teachers and principals and school managements, you might have been going through difficult times because of this pandemic and a lot of uncertainties in the air as to what to do, what not to do, and concerned about your children and about the health of your own kith and kin, family people, not able to go out. Lot of difficulties everyone is going through. But it is your great willpower that is helping you to get across times. God is great. And I thank Collins for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. To a large extent, I am concerned with education because of my passion into it. Particularly, I love teachers, I love principals. The reason being, they are the ones who are going to touch the lives of children. And when you touch the lives of children, you have a very different scenario in the field of education, and the country itself would change. So, hats off to all the principals, hats off to all the teachers and the school managements to stand up during this corona times. Let us now get into the session. I Nidhi had forwarded to me quite a number of questions, 60 questions or so. I would try to answer a little bit of it, few of them, because it is quite a vast number of questions. The time isn't enough for doing that, but let me try. All right. So we will go to the content of it. Today, I'll be talking to you. Mostly all your questions would be answered when I explain all these things, I suppose. So I have to discuss with you something about post-lockdown, understanding it. Let us say if the school reopens tomorrow, or say in another 15 days or a month later, whatever, because different parts of the country has different issues to cope with. So you do not know when it is going to reopen, but assuming that the school reopens in the near future, what are the logistics of opening the school? Logistics, when I mean to say, how are you going to bring the children, send the children back? What is the entry, exit? A lot of things, space for them. We needed to decide which group of children will come, who has to be allowed. A lot of logistics need to be taken care of. Safety and health of the students as well as their teachers. Then emotional, psychological, and social aspects of the children and the teachers. Possible scene of a school after lockdown. How does it look like? Then, second part of it will be structuring the learning activities for a heterogeneous group of children, because your schools will have all types of children. Normal children, in the sense who can learn normally. Certain children are not able to learn normal in a normal way. Learning disabilities are there. And there are certain children who are coming from the economically weaker society, like the RTE, 25% reservation kids are there. So, and there are quite a number of students who have not been able to access the online facilities. So, you have a series of issues waiting for you in terms of the student clientele, which is waiting to receive instructions from you. And what should the schools do? The support system, what the schools have to do towards teachers, students, and also parents. Then taking feedback, how important it is, and getting ready for 2021, because 2020 is almost out now. So 2021. So there are plenty of questions and questions and questions, and no one has an answer for it. Okay. But then, because there are questions, we cannot sit idle without giving answers. So let us try and explore. And that is what we are all here for. All right. So, when would the schools reopen? This is a fundamental question in everybody's mind. God alone knows. No one knows. Not even the government knows about it. All right. Even if it reopens, would the schools run full scale? Because why I'm saying this is that there had been number of students who have left the schools because of migrant. Many people have migrated to their cities, so their children have gone with them. So the schools have been under lockdown, and so they may not even have taken their transfer certificates. Most of them would not have paid their fees. They would have all gone back. Okay, so the school right now, the school management is facing a kind of an issue. It is not running on a full scale school. Quite a few of the students have dropped out or left the school without even any intimation. Many of the parents are not able to pay the fees. And so, you have different questions like, will the school run on a full scale? And you have here, what about the safety and security of the children and the teachers? Even if it reopens, what guarantee is there that the schools would give the safety required? Like the students, we are all worried about the students. Like that, we are worried about the teachers too. They too have a family. They too have health issues. We need to take care of them as well. Will learning happen through TV or internet? What is going to happen? What will happen to those who can't afford to pay the school fees? How are you going to run the school? Would children shift from private schools to public school? Because private schools have a fee structure, whereas public schools, meaning to say government schools, do not have that kind of a fee structure. So would it happen that there will be an exodus of students from private schools to public schools? How can the private schools manage their show in the coming days? These are all the questions which are coming into everyone's mind. Many of them have no answers. But then, as I said earlier, we have to find an answer in our own way. 100% perfection we cannot expect, because it is a very ambiguous situation, uncertain situation that we are all in. So your planning, strategizing, etc. may be successful to some extent, but it may go for a toss sometimes. We should be prepared. So post-lockdown, let us look at the logistics of school reopening after the lockdown. First and foremost, teachers and principals of the schools need to remember, not about academics. It is not about academics. It is about the health and safety of children and teachers. As of now, there is no remedy which has been found. There is no medicine found for this particular disease. So till such time a medicine is found and the treatment has been successful, the reports coming are very positive about it, then only the schools can really think or heave a sigh of relief, rather. So health and safety of children and teachers is the priority for you. How will you take the health and security safety of the children? How will they come? How are the children going to be transported to your school? What is a kind of a bus service which is going to happen? Are all children going to come together? What is their entry? What is their exit point? Are you going to bring in all children or few children? That is something which we have to decide. The school management needs to decide about it, and their health. The sanitizing liquid should be there. The kind of mask wearing should be compulsory. The temperature checking should be there. And they have to maintain a little bit of a social distancing for quite some time, at least by end of this year, till the end of this year, till such time they are saying okay, the curve has not flattened yet, it has not come down, it is not even coming down anywhere that way. So it will go for a little more longer time. The serious issue here is the health. When I say the health of the children, it is not about physical health alone. The mental health of the children is something, and even the teachers for that matter, is something very important. We have to seriously look at it. Why? Because children, they have not been playing for a long time. They have been kept out of home, not been inside home for a long time, not even going out for any small little thing. So they are a frustrated lot, the kids. And some of the kids have lost their kith and kin. Some of them are seeing regularly the channels projecting only negative news. So, they are scared. There's a kind of an insecurity all over. So the children are coming with a little bit of a difficulty, mental frustration. So I would suggest that the schools get ready with the school counselors. Actually speaking, they should be at work now. Even online, the counselors of the school should be able to give mental support to the children and the teachers. Even teachers are going through these difficulties. Some of the teachers have not yet received their salary. We cannot blame anyone for this, neither the management nor anyone. Okay? Some of them are getting half of their salary. And in some cases, these teachers are the total earning members of the family. So if the income is less, what will they do? They are also mentally affected. So physical health as well as mental health of the people are at a stake now. So this has to be seriously taken into consideration by the school authorities. And we have to plan it. How are we going to bring the children? The transport needs to be taken care of. If you have a canteen at school, you have to take a call on it, whether that has to be maintained. What kind of food are they giving? Are they clean? Okay. And how children have to be maintaining the distancing, and how do they sit in the class? How are you going to arrange the space in the classroom? In one bench, two children, what distance they have to keep? All these things are a kind of concern for the school when you plan logistics. Like you have preparations for receiving the students and teachers. The schedules of reopening is something which you have to seriously think about. Schedule of reopening, I would suggest, this is my simple suggestion, schools can take their own call, that don't call all the children together. Keep only 2 or 3 days a week. Let the school work for 7 days, as 5 days, but not for the entire crowd together. If you are calling the preschoolers and the learning disabled kids of all the grades can be called on one day. The primary children can be called on another day. Have shift, schedule it in such a way that they don't come together, so that there is a crowding in the school. And follow all the safety protocol for that. So scheduling is extremely important. Prepare to receive them. Health precautions, as I said, the safety, the wearing mask, social distancing, etc. All that needs to be taken. I told you emotional rehabilitation of students. So if there is any principal who is listening to this or some senior teachers listening to me, I would suggest that you call your counselors. Please do call counselors and give have a one-to-one meeting or call on a Zoom meeting or something like that. Discuss with them how they would like to interact with the children through online medium and interact with them, understand them, and prepare them so that when they come to school, they are a little bit balanced, they are a little bit calmed down. And this is so very important even for special education teachers. The reason being the disabled kids, you know, the disabled kids are so vulnerable to all the difficulties in this world. I'm telling you, many of those children, I had been interacting with quite a few of the parents and children and teachers. I could understand that there is a tremendous amount of domestic violence meted out to these learning disabled children or otherwise disabled children because they have no way to express themselves and they are vulnerable to all these kind of abuses. And at home also, many homes are not very spacious like how you and me could afford, but many are there who cannot afford such palatial places, very confined rooms, and seeing people fighting with each other. This close proximity has also brought people together, also made them to retaliate. Familiarity also has made people go apart. So they are a frustrated lot. So the counselors of the school have to do a serious job right now. The mental health is seriously important. And attending to the learning needs is the second part of it. Here, what you will do is that addressing the digital divide. Why do I call it as a digital divide in the sense? Because all the schools cannot afford to give a kind of an online platform for all the children. Even if schools can do it, there are many children who cannot afford, they don't even have a smartphone, first of all. Okay, so where are they going to learn the lessons which you are going to give or online learning? How are they going to learn it? There is going to be a lot of difficulties for those kids. So, in your own class itself, which was in March 2020, before you went on lockdown, which was a common classroom, heterogeneous classroom of 30, 40 children, you have now 10 or 15% of the children not there. Only 25% or 30% of the children are there attending to your online classes. What are you going to do for the 10% of children? We need to address their learning needs. We will see how it can be done, the digital divide. Then addressing the curriculum delivery. The curriculum delivery, which is particularly to you, the teachers. How are you going to teach the children online and offline? Believe me, if you think online and offline are one and the same, I'm sorry, I beg to differ. They are totally different. And the kind of a preparation that you need to have is manifold. It's not a small job, okay? Preparing your lessons for an online and even for an offline class. It is not easy. So, how are you going to deliver the curriculum to the children? That will decide the learning needs. Okay. So, to a large extent, the responsibility depends on the teachers and the school principals. Then, addressing the assessment of students. Assessing the students, evaluating the students, where are they? To what level are they? So that when the schools reopen, when the schools reopen, you also come with an agenda. Okay. So how will you take them in the same 40 student class or 20 students class, whatever it is? How are you going to deal with them? This is something which we need to seriously look into. A possible scene post lockdown of a classroom would be exactly like this, beyond walls or boundaries. Because, your children have realized one thing in the last 3 to 4 months, that for learning, teachers are not the only factor. required. Even without teachers, we can learn. The teachers may ask now a question. Does that mean that our importance is slowly coming down? As such, teachers were losing their significance. They were losing respect in the society. So does it mean that this online learning medium, which has come in suddenly, all of a sudden pushed on you, does that mean that your significance is drastically coming down? Is a big question. Now, if you ask me this question, I've been a teacher for almost several years, decades. I'm a teacher. I was. So, if you ask me, I would say this is the best time to make your presence felt. I'm telling you, teachers, I'm telling you, principals, this is the best time to make your presence felt. Why? Because the parents are tired. Tired because the children are locked up and they don't have a way to go out. And the parents are not fully equipped also. They don't know what this online meaning is. Even educated people do not know how to handle certain things. All right. So they don't know. So to manage one child, they are struggling. Okay. So they are actually waiting. Oh my God, the school reopen and let the teachers take care of my children. This is the feeling they have, which means they are dependent on you. While a very small percentage of parents may be hesitating to send their children to school, which is not a problem. You can always offer them a homeschooling. That is another option for the schools. You can certainly offer homeschooling to such parents who refuse to come to school, send their children to school. Okay. So beyond walls or boundaries, digital divide is something which I told you. We will be again discussing with the digital divide after some time, how to handle them. Beyond teachers and school, I mentioned it to you. They think that schools are not required now, teachers are not required. Bindas, we can learn. No, you can't learn all that what is given there. It is not possible. Challenges and opportunity. It has opened up a plethora of opportunities for the teachers. Quite a number of challenges are there. And believe me, it is from challenges, opportunities result. If I am very proactive about these challenges, if I am a person who looks at challenges as an opportunity to grow, teachers, you have this platform right now, so you can grow. Then redefined relation. Earlier, the relationship was teacher taught. At home also, the relationships were all a little bit of a dicey situation was there. But now very clearly they are defined. What are the roles and responsibilities of parents? What are the roles of schools? Roles of teachers, responsibilities? Everybody knows now. All right. Then newly emergent confidence in students and teachers. It's very important that, children are these days very confident. Earlier, till March 2020, some of your schools did have this technology platform. It is not that you were not having technology, you say. You had smart boards also. You had online teaching in few schools. But then, that was also factor. Technology, using technology to 100% was an also factor when till March 2020. Okay. Now, technology is 80%. You are supposed to learn, do technology to a large extent, and now you are very confident. Earlier, I do remember who are the people which all teachers are very badly affected. The language teachers are the ones who are seriously affected, impaired because of this technology. One is that they have to learn the script, to write the scripts, etc. But always it takes a little time. It can be learned. And then the operating procedures, all that can be learned through training. So a new emergent confidence is there in both these sectors. Health issues, disciplinary issues is something which you have to seriously think about it. Earlier, the children were coming to the school because school was necessary for them. Why? To pass a 10th standard, they needed a physical structure of a school. A certificate was required from the principal or the school, and you needed some grading there to get into college. Very soon, these are going to disappear. All right. So they know very well that schools can't do anything to us. So this may lead to discipline issues. And not only that, during your online classes also, the children, some of the children are not disciplined. They don't come to the classes properly. They don't attend. You know, the parents also sit there. Imagine, actually speaking, my very dear teachers, you are so great. You know why? You are allowing the whole world to come into the privacy of your room, your home. By opening this online classes, the parents and the parents in what all shapes and forms they come, God alone knows. Some of them will be wearing shorts, some of them wearing whatever, God alone knows. But you are forced to sit in front of your computer and teach those children. It is so very humiliating, many a time, I tell you. So, discipline issues. Here, your discipline issues can come from the children by not attending properly, from the parents by not allowing the children to behave properly or guiding the children to behave properly or attending to your lessons properly. So discipline issues are a must to be attended to. You have to seriously look into as a learning need. It is not a small thing. Change in outlook among staff and students. Yes, the outlook has changed. The world is so very huge. We can, confidence is there to look at it. Changes in learning spaces. Learning spaces, when I mean to say the school infrastructure. Earlier, suppose you are a 1500 student strength school. So you had some 50, 60 rooms. Now all those rooms will become meaningless. You can learn online. What are you going to do with those rooms? You must be paying heavy rent, or it must be your own. You have to maintain that. Repair and maintenance of those buildings, the spaces. What are you going to do? You need to seriously think about all those things. Brimming with technology, yes. Teacher transformation is one of the very important thing which is going to happen. Earlier, you were a sage on stage. A sage on stage means an advisory capacity. Oh, don't do this. You have to be like this. You have to be like this. We were in an advisory capacity. Sage on stage. Now you are a guide by side. Now you can't do that. You have to sit by the side of the children, hold his hand hold him and tell him, this is okay. It is not okay, but think about it. You have to maneuver. You have to be very diplomatic about whatever you are doing. Okay? Structuring the learning needs of students. I'll be discussing a little bit of it after some time. Okay? Creating a space, learning options. What to learn, where to learn from, how to learn. Clear planning for the learning of all students with proper technology amalgamation. Create a space for children. What do you mean by creating a space for children? I told you, children come with in varied genre. Okay? Not like how they were before. They are coming to you with difficulties which you may not even have imagined. With that kind of an emotional imbalances, some of the kids may be coming into the classes. Some of the children would be coming in with overconfidence. Some of the gifted children would be coming with restlessness. Some of the weaker children will be coming, oh my God, what do? I didn't attend all these classes. Would my teacher humiliate me, insult me? What will my progress card look like? My God. These are their worries, fears. My very dear teachers, you have to create a space for them. You have to emotionally touch them, touch their life. Teaching physics, chemistry, English, forget it. That will happen. That they know. Google is there. Google Dada is there. He will help you. but then emotionally touching only a teacher can do. That is why I said a teacher is going to be an important person in the classroom henceforth. Okay, your students of all age group, they have missed out all sports activities, physical activities, fun in the school. The campus they have missed out. They were not kicking the football. They were not playing cricket. They were not playing music. There were no competitions. There were no youth festivals. They have missed out everything for the last several months. So they are coming with that kind of a heavy heart. Have a space for them. Stand at the door, welcome them gently, and tell them that they are very much wanted and that they belong to you. All right? Therefore, you must create a space, an emotional space, and and for your students, to interact with you and seek your support. The rigid academic planning may not always be possible for some time. Let me tell you, usually we teachers prepare huge lesson plans, year plans, isn't it? That year plan will go for a toss now. So do not ever think that the good old year plan that you have done will be rigidly followed in the coming days when the school reopens. Okay? So you have to think about it. How? The effective domains of teaching and learning have come alive once again. The emotional aspect of it has come alive. What to learn? How are you going to learn what to learn? This is something which you have to seriously understand. You don't know. You have not been able to give all children the same kind of a learning because of difficulties at your end and their end. All right. So you have to assess their needs. When they come to the school, you don't know how much they have learned. For example, if 30 students of your children have taken up the online classes very well, whatever lessons you were giving, assignments, some of them have done, some of them have not done, but forget it, you have taught them. But whereas the other group, 10%, has not been there at all, what are you going to do with them? So what should they be learning? What is the kind of a curriculum they should be learning? That is something which we need to seriously. So, what you need to do is that you have to recalibrate your curriculum for those children for few months, 2 or 3 months. Suppose next month the school reopens. That is, what is the next month? August. August, the school reopens. August and September, 2 months. So instructional days could be somewhere around 20 plus 20, 40. 40 days instructional days could be there. Not all the 40 days the children would be coming to you because you have schedules for online and offline classes. But whatever it is, let us say 20 days the children are coming to school. Then I would suggest that the schools can recalibrate the curriculum only for these 10% of children separately. Only the concept can be picked up. Suppose it is English, you pick up the concepts of grammar. Suppose you are teaching grammar. So only that grammar essentials will be picked up and recalibrate a separate curriculum for these 10% of children, which you have done extensively for the other group. Forget it. But here you are doing a concentrated effort you are doing. And if the school has senior teachers, put all those senior teachers as responsibility. Call those children to school if it is allowed and possible in your area. And your computer lab and computer lab teacher could be asked to come in to support. And the senior teachers, or if senior teachers are not there, you are not able to do it. You have plenty of retired teachers who have retired from your school or even other schools. They're all sitting at home. Call them for few hours. Hourly basis you can pay them. And they wouldn't ask that kind of a money also. They are all retired, satisfied people. So call them and put these children into them with a very clear guideline. This is what they have to learn. And then the online lessons are there. Then assess, is there any gap between this children and that gap? So how much more you have to do it so that when the school reopens, these children are on par. All right. So recovery curriculum, that is what I said. Calibrate your curriculum again. Recalibrate the goal and learning objectives. So if your learning objective of teaching, for example, say English language, your learning objective is teaching transitive and intransitive verbs. All right. If that is the objective, you want your children, you will be writing 5, 6 objectives, learning objective. The children need to be using transitive verbs like this, like this, like this. They know definition, example, this. Redo your learning objectives. The only one learning objective could be there, that the children should clearly differentiate between a transitive verb and an intransitive verb. That one needs an object, direct object, that the other one doesn't need a direct object. And examples, give them examples and do little bit of a learning towards that period. So your learning objectives also will differ. And as a school, if your objective goal is that, okay, this year we wanted to produce 100% success in examination and 98% distinction, recalibrate. That is not your goal. Distinctions and first classes and 99.9 percentage marks is not going to carry any importance anywhere. Learning is going to be important. Quality of learning is going to be important. Your behavior of the children in the new scenario is going to be important. And that is where your significance comes in. All right. Then where to learn from? From blended class through hybrid learning. Now, what is this? There are 3 types of learning I can tell you. One is your face-to-face learning, which is the normal up to March 20, what you were doing, face-to-face learning, where you either sometimes you used technology, sometimes you did not use technology. All right. Now, the second type of learning is a hybrid class, wherein you will use offline learning and part of technology enabled learning. So that is hybrid, blended. Okay. And the third one is online, 100% online learning. All right. So this is something, these are the 3 types of learning. So how are you going to do it? Which means your work is there. Seriously, you have to decide. Suppose you have 20 chapters in a particular subject, geography, you should decide how many chapters or topics should go online, how many should go offline. This is something, it needs your creativity, your intelligence into working that. From online learning, from web-based integrated learning and traditional classroom. Okay. How are you going to learn? The planning for an integrated class. Integrated class means I am talking about the hybrid learning only. So when they come to school, you may need a face-to-face learning, and in the same face-to-face classroom, you also may need technology. So the schools need to seriously plan. What are the things they may have to procure? What is it that they are losing? What is the technology provider doing? What is the platform he is going to give? Okay, all those things they have to seriously work out for an integrated class, and what to include and what to opt out in the chapters. All chapters need not be taught verbatim, word by word. Certain things could be self-learning. This needs to be decided by the teacher concerned. Then when to do and what not to do. This is very important. You know, your online teaching, many cases I saw that the same offline, that is regular lesson plans which you are doing there, is replicated in the hybrid class also, online class also. That is totally wrong. The objectives of face-to-face classroom is totally different. Because why? Why is it different? Because in a face-to-face classroom, there are several non-verbal communications that are happening between the students and the taught. The teacher is able to give the children an opportunity to debate, discuss, come out. interact and argue with you, right? In an online class, that is not available. So much more learning is happening in the face-to-face classroom in certain areas. All right. But in an online class, the same objectives don't hold. And the same preparation from page number 1 to page number 10, this is what the author has said. So I will prepare a PPT. That is not online preparation. Take only the concept. Only the concept you have to take and teach the children with plenty of examples. All right. That is what online learning is all going to be. Strategies. How do you plan to disperse learning? Addressing the needs of all types of children. As I told you, the preschoolers are there. And these boards have all come up with several decisions, several notifications have come in across all grades with the several instructions to you. And they are all very good. They are very proactive. And you have to follow that. You know, the preschoolers, they say that it is only an half an hour screen time. Many children have started wearing glasses because of this constant looking at the screen. So that should be avoided. Okay, so screen time should be less for preschoolers. So what will you show the preschoolers? You know, preschoolers, what normally schools teaches that you animals, plant life, this phonetics and all those things. Phonetics cannot be done online. That may not work out really well. Phonetics has to be done in the regular classroom. The children have to see how you do it, how you write it. All those things are very important, right? So the rest of it, you have plenty of channels. The history channel is there, the discovery channel is there, several videos are there. Ask the children to see all that, how a seed is growing into a plant and how animals are there, survival of the fittest and their structure. These things can be happening for the preschoolers. Primary children also have 1 day class or 2 day class, whatever possible, and split the classes like that and do a little bit of learning. The problem that you are going to face, my very dear teachers, I'm warning you now, language development is going to take a beat. English, Marathi, Hindi, Gujarati, all those subjects across the states are going to take a beat. Why? Because in school, in regular school, they were interacting. So they were using the languages, right? English medium schools usually insist that they speak in English. All right. At home, the tendency is to speak in mother tongue. So they have lost touch with speaking in English for quite some time. So when they come to school also, are yaar, tu idhar aa, tu udhar ja, kind of a language will come in. The slang will come in. Teachers have got a tough role. Language difficulty is going to be tremendous. Same case with numeracy. So a separate plan needs to be prepared by the schools to upgrade their language learning. And addressing the needs of the special children is very important. As I said, the learning special needs teacher, if the school has that teacher, call them and then tell them to be together and working out a kind of a plan for them, and don't insist on completing the portions. All right. Innovative technologies you have to. There are flipped classrooms, design thinking methods, inquiry-based learning, graphic organizers. These are all excellent techniques which can be adopted. Very practical techniques for both online and offline classes. Then arranging the activities is very important, and taking feedback. Possible strategies for learning, traditional classroom learning with or without technology, blended learning, hybrid learning, and online learning. I have said that. Addressing the digital divide. How will you address the digital divide? You have to assess the learning of those children. The economically weaker section of the society, the learning disabled children, or those children who could not access online learning at all, have a special test module prepared for them. Call them to school if it is allowed. Have a test module. Tell your senior teachers to assess them. Where are they? And then recalibrate their learning needs based on all subjects. Okay, the student is now here at level 1, he has to go to level 2. So this is the gap. How many days this will work? How many chapters or what all concepts I need to instill to the children if they have to learn? Let the department heads and the teachers together plan for each department. Okay, recalibrate their learning needs in all subjects, fix their new target. So this is your learning now. This is where you have to go, children. So what should you do? What is the goal that you have? What is the target you have in so many days time? Plan it with the days. You have 10 days. In 10 days, you should learn about 100 new words or 100 concepts about grammar or some essay writing or competitions or whatever it is, or numeracy, addition, subtraction, anything. Okay, so this is something you have to plan for the target learning. Okay, get the gap. The gap is done. Now I would request the schools to keep your computer labs open. Allow these children, these deprived children, to use your laboratories and put few teachers in charge of that. Okay, from a team of teachers to build the concepts I have explained. Get retired teachers and special need teachers. Space the learning. Space the learning, level 1, level 2, level 3. Plan it like that. And then merge when they are ready. Okay? Till then, do this. Financial support needs to be given to the children if they need. Now, school managements themselves are going through difficulty. So, I don't think the school managements will be able to do it. But then, you have plenty of corporates. You know, the corporates have got a CSR project. 2% of their profit has to be shared for corporate social responsibilities. Approach those corporates, request that our school has these kind of children. Few say 10-15% of children are either dropped out due to fee structure or not able to pay fee, or even a smartphone per family also, if they are able to give, the children would be able to benefit out of it. You know, approach the corporate sector, approach the Lions Club or Rotary clubs, or there are several NGOs who are ready to help you. It only needs your mindset to go about. Certain facts regarding the economically weaker section of the society, the children. The government-owned public schools may not face money crunch. It's not that the government has a lot of money, but they may not face a money crunch because they have a budget for it and they will utilize it. Okay, so students who are enrolled into government schools may not have a problem. The affordable private schools are the ones which actually depend on fees, and 20 to 30% of the children have left their school, and so fees has not come in. Okay, so they are having a income crunch. 2 to 3 million citizens are teachers, staff in these institutions. So you know, some of them have lost jobs, some of these teachers. So they are also to be taken into consideration. So these schools are finding it difficult to pay the salary for their employees, and so there is a job loss for many. Parents from low income background are very badly affected. This is all research done by Tata Society. It says that nearly 30% from impoverished families would be withdrawing their children from schools due to their financial difficulties, which is a huge number, and we cannot afford that. All right. Nearly 41 lakhs of students from the economically weaker section category are benefited from the 25% reservation in the RTE Act. These children who are in the RTE 25% EWS, they do not belong to any particular caste-wise segregation, purely based on their economical background. Okay, so 41 lakh children are going to be affected because of this. Sometimes schools have to be very proactive, teachers have to be proactive regarding this. Solutions to address the EWS children's problem for the governments, for the private school. For the governments, there are plenty of options are there. You know, RTE Act has to be facilitate, you make it a mandatory thing to be more effective. You make all the students register into their portal. So they will know which all students are struggling to get there. Use an ancillary. They have a plenty of ancillary budgets for uniform, textbooks, this, that, and all that. Pool in all those things and provide them the technical knowledge. Okay, usually accounting practice is that if you have an account head, you will only put that amount into that. They don't use it otherwise. Forget that. All those ancillary budgets could be pulled in together to procure technology. Provide 25% children the mask and safety equipment. Engage the private schools by providing them with their bills. The pending bills to the private schools they have to pay. And for the private schools, encourage the kids to rejoin. Don't then give them a transfer certificate. I am requesting you, principals and teachers, do not give a transfer certificate to those children. Keep it pending. No government is going to take action on you. I'm sure about it. Support the parents, because the parents are also a worried lot. Help them, support the kids. Utilize their connections with the corporate for financial assistance. I've explained all this to you. Engage retired teachers. How can learning be speeded up? Fix a time limit. Allow breathing time for the kids and teachers. No competition. You are not going to compete with your neighboring school. If that school has got 100% result and 98% distinction, so be it. You have a very different purpose. You are very unique. You are such a wonderful human being. Touch the children, touch their lives. Give the breathing time for the children, for what all they have gone through. Understand? Your purpose is different now. Give necessary training to the teachers. Make available the learning resources and implement the plans and monitor the plans and take feedback. Give enough student support. Keep parents in the loop. These are all the ways how you can speed up the learning processes. Motivate the teachers to bridge the gap. Embrace them. Without teachers, schools can't do anything. Take the teachers into your fold. Motivate them. Once in a while, use good words to them. Tell them that they are great. They are also fighting some battle within. Why not we understand that? So take them along with us. And student assessment and evaluation is going to be a pretty serious matter. It needs a lot of time. But then I will quickly, the time is now how I have my time is actually gone. Do I have time, Nidhi? Venkat?
Yes, Shrikant. Yes, ma'am. You have some time.
I have some time. I will. Yes. This is something very important. Okay.
Please.
They have to. You have to prepare the blueprint of the question paper for online and offline. Both will not be the same. An online question paper will be more of MCQs and even subject. The elaborate questions, essay questions also can be done online. The only thing is that the academic integrity of the children will be questioned. But I tell you, to some extent, you have to believe the children, you have to believe the teachers, you have to believe the parents, tell the parents to be in charge. And if there is I don't know much technology, if the school can take the technology expertise towards that, to close all those apps or whatever it is, so that when they answer the technology, the detailed questions, something needs to be done like that. It is possible, but not all children can fool you all the time, isn't it? You know the caliber of children, so you can always have an interaction. You take them into confidence and try that. All right. And if you have essay things to be or projects to be done, etc., you have this Google document form. So there you can call the group of children, you can share, when they are watching itself, you can correct it. So it is so easy for you. Actually speaking, I'm telling you, it is going to be damn easy for you teachers. Formative and continuous assessment is going to be the order of the day. So when you finish a particular chapter, please do an online testing. Here also offline testing, period. Note down, record it. The answers are immediately given to you. You can always keep that as a record. Individualized assessment, topic-wise through online, is very, very important. So if some children have not yet got you there, no problem, conduct the test for him separately. So this online learning has given you ample opportunities to individualized instruction and assessment. Do that. No one is going to hold your hand. All right. So individually assess the children. He has give us a time and space for him to learn. And then when he is ready, do the testing for him. Don't test the children on what you have taught, on what he has learned. We had been doing this mistake for uh, donkey's years, I tell you. We were all teaching children something and we were testing on what we taught them. We never bothered about what children have learned. Try to learn, flip your attitude to this side. What the children have learned, let me test them on that. That is very important. Separate assessment for learning disabled and preschoolers. Preschoolers, self-expression skills will be very good. No writing, no reading, no nothing. Speaking, they will always be speaking in their mother tongue. There is no hassle about it. It's not that we are all born to English people. So English comes later, much later. I am from a village, and I am with a background of total 100% Malayalam, and English is not my language. We learn it. We learn it. It is not a Himalayan task to learn. So don't worry about it. Let the preschoolers learn to express. That's very important. And pattern of assessment, the questioning is going to change. No more you are going to ask the knowledge level question. I would say your pattern of your question paper could be based on Bloom's taxonomy, a little further extended. 20% knowledge level questions could be there, 40% of understanding level question, 20% application level, and 20% skill level question. If you are able to prepare a blueprint accordingly, your question paper will be a class 1, and the assessment and evaluation of your school only is going to decide the caliber of your school. Okay, progress card has to reflect competencies. Don't write with the red mark. Your son or daughter has failed in mathematics. I hate that. It's not good. Tell them where he was positively passing the examination, and call the parent and tell them, look, he's good with all these things, but he has a little issue here. We have to both work together. So reflect the positivities of the children, help the children understand from the progress card about the competencies that he's good at. Feedback to parents must be very constructive. Schools must make teams, support students. When I say make teams, schools have to seriously look into the teachers who are ready to work. The habit of the school management is usually to take all the senior teachers. It doesn't matter whether this teacher is senior or junior. The attitude matters. The work culture matters. So even if a teacher is a newcomer, new joinee, please do incorporate if that teacher is a very enterprising teacher. So make teams, support students, support parents. Okay? Schools must make a responsible team, relevant team, resilient team. Teachers cannot go away, run away. Okay? Then recalibrate their goals, rearrangement in schedules of working, recovery of the curriculum, that is recalibrating the curriculum, then make a re-entry into technology, reopening the unexplored avenues of technology, realigned goals for utilization of the fund. Where are you going to use your fund? On very beautification of your school or technology? Decide that. All right. The students must be given enough training. Most of these 10%, 15% children do not even know how to operate a computer properly. Forget online learning. Call them to school, as I said. Train them. Engage a small group of teachers to take care of their learning and training. Then comprehending the given matter and inferring the messages out of it. They don't know, they understand, but they can't express. Teach them the power of expression. Okay? Self-regulatory skills, digital use, time management, motivation to complete the lessons, seeking help from teachers. These are all the things which you will be working. Ensure support to handle themselves, which is very important. They are a broken lot now, most of them. help them to handle themselves. Very important. Skills for working in teams, peer learning, everything. Active learning, everything. Parent support. Parents are totally lost. Communicate very clearly to the parents. All right? They don't know. They believe the principle. So whatever comes from the principle, they believe it. So communicate properly. I would advise, if possible, create a small PR team. Your communication matters. Very often school principals and schools go wrong in communication. They don't communicate properly. But while most of the other schools do it also. So communicate very clearly. Calmness is very essential. That is the most important weapon. Parents are going to bombard you sometimes. They would say, I won't give you the fees. You may be really worried. But then you have to handle it, call them. And as I told you earlier, if there is any sponsorship possible for the parent, fine, fair enough. But there are some parents who have enough money but wouldn't give. Such parents, you know how to handle them. Seriously. But children should not be suffering because of the parents' attitude. That's very important. Do not take every comment personally. Never be too emotional with parents. We teachers have got a problem. We are over emotional. When parents have got their issues, you will start crying. No, be a professional. Be a professional. Yes, I understand you have an issue. Do not exhibit your emotions, but try to help the parents to handle their issues. Do not take every comment personally. They may bombard you, parents, but don't take it. It is not going to be affecting you at all. That is very important. Give facts. Must take feedback of both online and offline learning. All right. Then taking feedback from all the stakeholders, self-assessment, peer assessment. You can make small questionnaires and give to children. How are your teachers teaching? Teachers can be given. How are you finding? What is the difficulties that you are finding? What can be done about it? To the parents, to the technology providers. Everything is possible. Getting ready for 2021. With that, we will be closing. Recovery curriculum, you will be doing a recovery curriculum. Your I understand that your new curriculum, which was already approved of in 2019, may be coming only in 2022 or 23 rather. So till such time you have a free time to recalibrate, recover your curriculum, do that. Choose those activities which are essential for both online and offline, and prepare teachers for the online teaching, prepare students for the online learning, ensure support for all types of children and parents, revamp the student assessment patterns, promote greater interactivity through games, web-based simulations, etc. I forgot to tell you something very important. When you are going to call the children for 2 days or 3 days a week, please allow them to play in the ground. The sports teachers, music teachers, art teachers, craft teachers of your school should be given maximum workload during those days. They should see they have missed out all those things. So a significant percentage of your schedule should be devoted to learning non-scholastic activities, because that is what is going to develop your children tomorrow. Your physics, chemistry percentage of marks has not done anything to them. All right. So these are the things which are going to help them. So plan it out. Few online resources for teachers I have written here. If this page can be shared with the teachers, it would be really helpful. Those who, this Kahoot is something which people are really using really well. Okay. So you can think about all those things. And it's this Google document is really used by teachers for this one, essay writing, story writing, short story writing, or even correcting some answers. All right, they are very easy and interesting, available. So please look into it. And some link to guide assessment also I have written here. If these 2 pages, Collins can share to those teachers, that would be really helpful to those teachers. And it is time to embrace the world. And thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much for your thoughts, ma'am. In fact, some moving comments that we've been getting. I'll
Okay.
read out a comment from one teacher. Teacher feels till now we have heard people talking only about how students should be looked after, but you've considered even teachers,
I'm a
which
teacher.
is a teacher yourself, exactly, which is thoroughly moving because in the past 5 months, our single pointed focus was on how students should benefit, right? So that's one thing. Wonderful comments we're getting, and we have all the viewers still over here. Not many people have left, and that is the resilience. That is how much they love you,
Okay.
loved your session. And now, due to the paucity of time, we'll be just taking two questions
Okay.
and, from the 60 odd questions that we've got.
Okay.
So the first question, ma'am, is yeah. How do we encourage weaker students? So this is about students, though.
Okay. Okay. Weaker children. That is, it could be economically weak students or even academically weak students. Both could be there.
Yes.
Economically weak students, I have told you. The other academically weak students in the classroom, we were giving them separate guidance and all that. That is not possible now. You have stopped it. So as I told you, if it is possible, my very dear teachers, if you can call those children, academically weak children, first and foremost is that you take your parent into confidence, because no parent would like to admit that his child is weak in studies, correct? So you have
Exactly.
to take the parent into confidence. Tell the parent that give the child to me. This is the perfect time for me. If your principals are allowing you to keep them in 4 or 5, I don't think many children are that weak in your classes. Their weakness is weakness in mathematics, weakness in other subjects. You know, one of the primary reason is because they are weak in language. Language is the medium of conveying ideas. So language development is what you have to seriously work on with this academically children. Teach them primarily grammar, vocabulary, if English teachers are going to call, or Hindi, or Marathi, or other languages you are going to call those small group of children, maybe 10 children you must be having in across divisions. Call them separately into the school right now if possible. And as said, teachers who are ready to come. Not all teachers are engaged in online classes every day. So some teachers are free. Accordingly, call them, give them sufficient help, because they cannot afford a help online. Their parents may not be able to help them either, because they may not be speaking those languages, or they don't even know the mathematics of it. So call them separately, give them small packets of lessons, drill them, give them sufficient exposure to stage by stage by stage by stage, take them, and simultaneously train them for the online sessions also. What is most important to these academically weak children and economically weak children is motivation,
Exactly.
a reason to exist. So you tell them, touch them, tell them that you are there, that they are not alone. That is the first thing. Okay.
Very inspiring. Very inspiring. And the last question, this is the second and the last question for this evening,
Mm.
is from a very concerned teacher
Mm.
who says there are quite a few students who are differently able, visually able, and so on and so forth. Now we hear about online classes and all that, but for these students, it will be very tough to attend to the online classes and also to keep pace with it. So, what is your thought on how to address?
It is very true. Actually, the opinion in this, whoever asked this question, is a very interesting question. The opinion differs here. I read quite a number of research papers on this learning disabled people, because I wanted to know how to go about with this. So they say some children really enjoy online classes. This is the research, because they are free. No one is telling them do this, now come here, sit here, this is the period, this is English period, this is that period, this is no restrictions. So nobody is there to control them. They enjoy. But majority of them who do not get to that online learning, because there are autistic children, there are children who can't read, write. Somebody has to hold them to write it. The special need teachers used to do it. I would request the special need teachers to do two things. One is that they create an individual education plan, for which already you must be doing, I know that, but that in IEP which you are doing should have reduced the portions considerably for these children. Only take that concept, that major concept which you want to teach, okay, and then write an individual education plan wherein the children can do certain things by themselves, certain help from the parents also. So the caretakers of the children, you have to educate them simultaneously. Okay, so the parents or whoever are the caretakers, call them, put this and tell them, teach them this IEP is going to go like this. And their assessment also should be very, very flexible. If the children are not ready for an assessment, it doesn't mean that they are arrogant or adamant. It just means that they are mentally not ready. That's it. Give them the time required. Heavens are not going to fall. All right. So go a little bit slow with these children with a different IEP. The other thing which I wanted to say is that this is for the principals to monitor. Ask your special education teachers to prepare a case history of each child, each special need child, like a kind of a portfolio for the child, like what is the child is good at, what is the child not good at, when does the child get extreme. There are certain ADHD children who just go to the extreme limit, roll on the floor and create a scene, and becomes difficult for the parents to handle. So let these a kind of a separate kind of a portfolio for each child. And an emergency comes like this, what should they do? In some cases, a chocolate helps the children. In some cases, a cartoon picture, showing a cartoon picture helps those children. So certain films, certain videos help these children to get across. So write a small one-page note about what are the emergency needs of all these kids. Make a portfolio of each child. The principal should have it there, be it online or offline classes. Accordingly, the special needs teacher can interact with the respective class teacher to say that my child will behave like this. Beware of it. Do not get annoyed over it. This is how it is going to be. All right. So this is very, very important for you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you so much for these thoughts. One, for encouraging the teachers and making them believe that they're also very important, and that is true, in fact. And second, for telling the teachers and making them aware of what the future lies for them.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So thank you so much for a wonderful guidance. And to all the teachers, we thank all of you for being here and also for listening to ma'am and thoroughly participating. You should see the comments, ma'am, on Facebook to understand how well they participated. So to all of you, thank you so much and wish you a happy weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Shubharatri. Thank you.
Thank you.